My name is Rahul Khosla. I've spent over a decade helping organizations drive revenue through their marketing efforts. And I'm really excited to speak on this topic. I think there's a lot to cover. So I'll certainly give you an opportunity to ask questions towards the end. So, but I will go through the entire journey of what drives the revenue engine. I think to begin with, the most important thing to keep in mind is that the buyer has changed. As you think about creating revenue from digital marketing within your organizations, the most important factor to consider is that your buyer has changed and your approach to marketing needs to change to engage this new buyer. Your buyer is more informed than ever before. Quite often, your customers start the buying process. This customer moves across channels seamlessly. You know, they start with their mobile device, they might go to their desktop, might switch over to the tablet, might go to Facebook, to your website and such, and that journey is seamless. So you can no longer engage with the buyer in isolated channels. And this buyer has little attention. So the old way of marketing, of executing a one-size-fits-all approach to marketing no longer works. You need to engage the buyer with one-to-one and more specific marketing. And this change in buying behavior is really interesting. It's really flipped, you know, the funnel upside down when you think about how much information is used to be available. There was a lack of information, and now there's just too much of it. And the power has shifted from the sellers to buyers. And within organizations, what we've seen is that marketing has the most amount of organization power, more so than sales. And that influence that marketing has is more than ever before. Marketing influences every stage in the buyer journey, all the way from discovery to engaging the buyer. Marketing focus in the funnel has increased from just the top of the funnel. Now marketing impacts all the way through, and it can be, I think, can be questioned, and marketing actually helps drive purchase as well in the funnel. So with this, what's happened is that marketing has become the most important, the revenue has become the most important metric for marketing, and organizations are measuring marketing effectiveness through revenue, because revenue is becoming the metric that marketing has to deliver. And marketing teams have to adjust in terms of how they execute campaigns, because ROI is now essential, and driving revenue is essential. So no longer can they just execute campaigns and simply say we got X, Y, Z impressions, or we got so many views, so many email open rates. Well, none of that really matters. What really matters is, are you driving revenue? And as this change has occurred with the buyer, and the focus is now organizations are tasking marketing to drive revenue, marketing is generally, marketers are unable to drive great experiences. They're not able to deliver consistent experiences across channels. They generally are able to measure in a channel-oriented manner. They don't have a synchronized view of their data across all channels, and the technology really does not enable them, and it's not integrated. And what that ultimately leads to is a poor customer experience. And when it comes to poor insights, lack of integrated marketing, and poor customer experience, all of that put together, what it drives for the organization is that it has a specific negative impact on revenue. And I think that is what organizations need to fix. So how do you get there? Well, you need a strategy that includes a strong focus towards your revenue generation strategy. You need to deliver exceptional customer experiences. Your technology needs to be integrated. Your approach needs to be driven through measurement, through a single view of the customer, and you need a roadmap. So through the course of the webinar, we're going to go through each one of these steps, and hopefully you can take away a few ideas around how you can bring these capabilities together to drive revenue for your organizations. So to begin with, we'll look into strategy and a roadmap. So your revenue strategy starts with defining the roadmap, and then you need to consider across the funnel where is it that you need to focus? So how do you generate leads at the top of the funnel? So how do you have enough coming through at the top of the funnel? And then how do you convert that traffic and leads into opportunities? And how do you move them through the funnel as quickly as possible to purchase? And then as you get customers through the door, how do you retain them and drive loyalty? And as you think about your funnel, you can start to think about, well, at the top of the funnel, what are the tactics I can employ? In the middle of the funnel, what are the tactics I can employ? And at the bottom of the funnel, what do I employ? And what technologies and approaches will help me? And that actually starts to give you perspective across your revenue funnel. And you start to think about a coordinated, integrated demand generation program that drives revenue for your organization. And once you understand what you can do across the funnel and what capabilities can be delivered, you can start to then consider how you can drive leads, generate demand, optimize, and ultimately get to a revenue engine. So it's certainly a journey. Organizations cannot simply execute a revenue engine day one. They need to start somewhere. So you need to establish where you are. Are you just generating leads and opportunities, but you're not really able to accelerate leads through the funnel? Your operations are not optimized across the customer journey. So then how do you get from demand generation to optimization? And once you optimize it, then you can really drive predictable revenue for your organizations. So when you consider your strategy at the top of the funnel, you can think about how do you convert leads from the website, how you can use paid, earned, and owned media to drive opportunities, how you can use display advertising to engage prospects across different properties and social media, and ultimately drive more leads to the funnel. Some of the tactics that organizations use at the top of the funnel include your website, email marketing, a lot of SEO, as well as display to drive leads through the funnel. So once you start to get leads and traffic onto the funnel, how do you drive conversion into opportunities? So it starts by sending the right message to the right person at the right time, and that's personalization. So once you personalize communication, you start to optimize the website. And once you start to do that, you can use content marketing approaches to actually drive conversion from your website and other channels into opportunities. And more personalized you are, the more engaged you will be with your customers. Generally, prospects say that once they receive personalized information, they are more engaged. And if it's targeted towards their job function or their context, it leads to better conversion. Your website is your conversion engine. So your website needs to deliver that one-to-one personalized experience to engage customers and drive conversion. You need call to action across your website. So you need to have the right forums. You need to have call to action so that you can convert prospects or traffic to potentially to leads and opportunities for your firm. And once you start to get leads and opportunities, well, it's important to consider that most of them are not really ready to buy, or over half of them are perhaps not ready to buy. So you need to use techniques such as marketing automation and content marketing to improve the quality of leads and accelerate them through the funnel. So those who are in consideration, to nurture them, get them the right content to build a relationship with them, and then move them in the funnel. And marketing automation plays an important role here. Companies say that they improve their pipeline significantly over those that don't use marketing automation. And generally, they get the sales time, cycle times are faster and better, and ultimately they drive more revenue once they have marketing automation integrated into their ecosystem. So once you've driven customers, then the focus drives towards revenue and retention, towards retention and loyalty. And then you start to think about, well, how do you onboard your customers? How do you promote usage and adoption? How do you train them? And how can you cross-sell and upsell those customers with the right products and services? So once you created a strategy that you feel can drive traffic to your site, to your properties, can drive opportunities at the top of the funnel, can actually accelerate swings to the middle of the funnel, and can drive customers. Then you can start to think about what content marketing strategy you need to have to engage customers. And it starts with targeting the buying life cycle. So it starts with understanding how buyers buy, and then segmenting your messaging towards those buyers, and then delivering those messages that engage those buyers. The best thing, you need to create content that resonates with buyers, and it really focuses on what type of content you can deliver to them, what type of information would be appropriate for different channels, including social, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, or any other channel. How do you get the right content and right type of content, so video or text or perhaps white papers and ebooks, what type of content you need to deliver across channels and for different segments of buyers. And as you create this type of content, you start to then promote them across channels. So you use an approach that we call create once, publish everywhere. It's an industry approach that organizations are using to get maximum reach from the content they deliver. So they create content once, and that content is then shared across all assets and channels, online and even potentially offline. So once you have the right content strategy and your revenue roadmap is created, you can start to think about what type of a customer experience that you need to deliver. And customer experience has a very specific impact on revenue. Customer experience is becoming a differentiator of many organizations, where customer experience by itself determines how effective their engagement is with their customers. So Forrester has done research which indicates that leaders deliver revenue or deliver performance which is significantly higher than laggards. And that is a key takeaway, in that customer experience can have a specific impact on your performance. And if you don't deliver the right customer experience, your customers will discontinue communication with you. We're in a world where people are essentially inundated with information, so getting the right information to them is critical, because with lack of time and lack of availability, we all try to get to the right information as quickly as possible. So delivering that content is critical. Understanding your customers, really understanding what the customer journey is to deliver a great customer experience. Now, as the customer goes through the journey, then how do you deliver the right content to the right customer? And as you start to understand who your customer is, you think about personalization strategies to engage the customer, whether it is on a particular device, on a channel, social media, through email, and you try to personalize the customer journey as and when appropriate. So once you start to get customer experience mapped out, you start to then focus on insights and the right type of customer intelligence. And getting the right intelligence has a significant impact on revenue. But it all starts with a single view of the customer. So all your data from different channels, so whether it's your website, email, social, display, all needs to come to a single view that allows you to really understand what type of information and insight that customer is looking for. And that single view of a customer will give you the right insight. But generally, there is issues in calculating ROI through the insights. And the reason is generally there's a lack of integration. So you cannot really report across the funnel. The website has its own analytics, email has its own analytics. It's not really integrated towards around a customer, if you will. So you don't get the ROI, you're not getting reporting across the funnel, and there's generally lack of integration. But preparing a plan to get to marketing ROI is quite important. So understanding what insights that you need, understanding what metrics will give you the ROI you need, the sources of data you need to bring together to create that single view of the customer, and then thinking about the reporting and insights that you need. So bringing the data together is quite important. So understanding what are the sources of data, what are the insights you need, and then what are the sources. You need to get CRM data, marketing automation, you need to get it from your offline systems, etc. And then understanding what type of metrics you want to drive from that data. And when it comes to metrics, focus on what really matters. We see organizations focus on things like vanity metrics, like, well, number of hits on the website, number of email opens, etc. Well, all that is good, but those are vanity metrics. What really matters is, are you driving ROI with the campaigns or the experiences that you're delivering? So what are your costs per lead per channel? What kind of total revenue are you getting by campaign type? And what kind of ROI are you getting per campaign? So once you pull together the type of metrics you need, then you need to understand what type of data will drive insight with those metrics. And you can start to pull the data together to drive insight. And as you come up with a strategy for measurement, it can only happen through a single view of the customer. So your technology needs to be integrated. So you need to establish what type of technologies do you need to drive revenue. So what impact does email marketing, CRM, web analytics, marketing automation have on revenue? And these are the key systems that are typically needed or required to drive revenue at a very minimum. And these systems need to come together into an integrated ecosystem. We call it a customer experience platform, and you can call it anything that's appropriate. But ultimately, all these systems come together to engage the customer, no matter where they are, in a one-to-one manner, through a single view of the customer and through insights and optimization. A critical component of this is integrating key components of your CMS, CRM, and marketing automation. And once you integrate those three key pieces, you start to get a common context of the customer. And then you can start to establish, well, which part of the funnel will different technologies target. So the top of the funnel, you can use different tactics like ebooks and display media, along with technologies such as marketing automation and your website. In the middle of the funnel, you can use nurture marketing through marketing automation. Bottom of the funnel, CRM becomes more active. So these technologies need to work in cohesion, if you will, to drive revenue for organizations. And here's a view of how the buying life cycle comes together across different channels and different technologies. So at the top of the funnel, you can start to use SEO, banners, webinars, etc., to drive traffic and engagement. And you can also use offline tactics that drive digital, that link to digital. And then you have assets that convert that traffic to opportunities, and you use tools such as analytics to get insights. And marketing automation and CRM then starts to nurture leads in the middle of the funnel and drive conversion and then you can focus on onboarding, loyalty, upsell, and cross-sell. So if you were to bring all of that together, what type of a journey can you execute? So let's take an example of a head of marketing in an insurance company looking for a new content management system. He would potentially go through search online. He would find a download. Let's say there's a company out there called SoEasy CMS, and he finds insightful content. He's willing to share information for getting that high value piece of content, which he does. He downloads the white paper to read, and what he ends up doing is that he actually discloses who he is by giving that information. So as soon as he gives his information, he goes from an unknown to a known visitor. And once he reads the white paper or product on his device, he starts to get more informed. As an organization, SoEasy starts to understand what he's interested in. They start to nurture him with email and marketing automation. They set up a meeting with the sales team when it's appropriate. And as this person is considering a decision, they can start to deliver very specific, targeted display ads, if you will, towards that customer, and then ultimately when they become a loyal customer and they come on board, they can start to share their great experience on social media, and that's where the network effect takes place. So here's an example of how all different channels between the desktop to mobile to email to social get utilized and display get utilized in a one-to-one manner where every interaction is very specific and targeted. And if you can accomplish this type of an engagement with your customers, you will drive more leads, more customers, more engagement, and at a better ROI. So with that, the conclusion really is that as an organization, you need to integrate your marketing ecosystem to drive revenue. You need to have an integrated revenue strategy and a roadmap. You need to focus on customer experience, which is one-to-one. You need to integrate your digital technology, which includes content management, marketing automation, CRM, analytics, and could include many other systems. And you need to have measurement, which is driven by a single view of the customer, where you're pulling data from all channels to ensure that you do not miss out on customer intent, perhaps, which is disclosed in any channel. So if you're able to build together an integrated strategy that includes these pieces, you can start to build a revenue engine for your organization, and you can create a roadmap with yourself which focuses on different maturity levels, and then you can start to execute on initiatives which are applicable to you to drive success. So with that, I will conclude the webinar, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Great, I see a question come through from the online chat from the organizer. So the question is, how does marketing technology, or what marketing technology actually drives revenue? Well, it's not one or it's just not there's no silver bullet, if you will. So you need to bring together an ecosystem of technologies that drive revenue. So the key technologies do include your content management system, marketing automation, analytics, CRM, but there could be many more depending on which industry or what your customer context is. That's one question. The second question that has just come up is around how do you use display media to have a one-to-one conversation with customers linked with email marketing. So I guess the question is more to do with how do you link email and display together when you run campaigns. Well, this technology is available where if you have a single view of the customer, you can activate campaigns through email and display together and all at once. And that's quite powerful as a concept. So if you drive out an email based on what the person sees on email, you can have display on websites as they surface the internet. And then if they come on your website, you can have on-site personalization. So you can personalize every single experience depending on where the customer is or where they are in their buying journey. I see more questions. I'd be happy to answer those separately, but well, thank you very much for your time. I hope you found the information informative, and hopefully it will allow you to make informed decisions on how you drive revenue within your organizations. Thank you and goodbye.